Hey guys, how's it going? CarlosE.S.P here with the Legion of Nerds. We're here at Central Coast Comic Con Day 3 with nerd rapper extraordinaire, Adam Warrock. What's up, man? How's the con been so far?
It's been good. We had a good show last night at the after party, and I can't believe that the con is like so big for only being in its second year. I've done a lot of cons before, and so you can see the fact that it's growing so much from its first to second year is really awesome to see. And it's right next to the beach, so you can't complain about that.
It is amazing. It's pretty beautiful outside.
It's like other cons are like casinos where you don't get to see the outside or the sun and everything. Here it's like you see the ocean and fresh air and things like that. It's very weird.
So you've been touring a lot this past year. What would you say was like the hardest part about touring so much in this past year?
I mean, the hardest part is probably, I guess first was in February. There was a big blizzard while me and Tribe One were on the East Coast, and we crisscrossed probably the Philadelphia area like 3 or 4 times while it was having like a record year of snowfall. I think it was like 36 inches or something. And we had to cancel the show and got snowed in Manchester, New Hampshire, and it took like 3 people for us to push the car out of the parking lot, the parking space. But it just happened to be where like some other friends were around. We actually just stayed in and played games all night in a hotel for, like 10 straight hours. And we forced the Domino's pizza delivery boy to risk his life to bring us pizza because there's nothing open. But other than that, I mean, I moved this year, and so that was really hard to kind of go back and forth and try to pack my place up in the week or 2 I have at home while I'm going touring, because we toured in support of my newest album since November on like East Coast, West Coast, in Texas, around South by Southwest, in the Midwest. So I was in Orlando, like it was very busy and all over the place. So I definitely saw a lot of the country. And, we drove up and down the West Coast in a minivan with Shape of the Dark Lord. So it was a very memorable time. But I'm just glad to kind of not be touring as much anymore. My voice is dead, by the way, if you wondered why I sound so somber while I'm talking, because I kind of blew my voice out last night.
So you toured a whole bunch this year. Obviously you're looking to slow down a little bit this next coming year, but what do you got going on, man?
I mean, I have the newest album, Middle of Nowhere, came out last November, and that's kind of the latest thing that I did. I have a 24-hour Rap-A-Thon coming up on October 18th, which is basically I wake up and I start making music for one straight day and see how many songs I can post. So people are pledging per song, or they give a lump sum donation. And this year, a portion of the proceeds are going to be raising money for RAIN.org, which is the nation's largest anti-sexual violence and sexual assault charity. So I'm going to be raising money for a good cause while also just raising money for keeping Adam Warrock running. And then I'll be working on a new EP, hopefully out in the spring, and then a new album probably hopefully next year. But these are all things that I haven't started on, so we'll see how that calendar lines up. And then I know that just a bunch of cons and events here and there, and trying to figure out what is going to be an interesting pop cultural topic to talk about. Right now we were talking about this, right now there doesn't really seem to be one that everybody is into. And so it's really hard to know where the cultural zeitgeist is going. And so hopefully something will make itself apparent soon. I missed out on making a True Detective song because I wasn't home enough while I was watching it. So I really would. But I mean, it would have been weird to make a rap song about that show because it's kind of bleak.
It really is.
So you can't really, there's some messed up stuff that happens in it. You can't really like celebrate it as a whole. But I don't know what it's going to be, so we'll see.
So with the new album, Middle of Nowhere, I've seen you perform different songs from it like a bunch of times now in the past year. What was the process behind working on that? Like, how long did you work on the songs? How long was the production?
It was probably the longest I've ever worked on an album. I started getting beats from producers like a year before I was working on these songs, and I had like the first and last song done of the albums. Second to last song, like Nuclear Family, and then High School Reunion. I had those songs done first, and I knew they were going to be like the beginning and end of the album. And then it just kind of filtered from there, got some guests on it. It took about a year to make. It's definitely the longest I've ever worked on an album, and I usually work on it very quickly because I work with so many guests and so many different producers. It took longer than that, and I'm very proud of it. I even made a digipack, so doesn't break in transit like jewel cases do, because who wants those anymore, anyways, right? But it's been really well received. I'm glad that people like it. So because it's definitely the most personal stuff I probably put on a record, and I feel like it's a definite progression from the album before it, where it sounds like a better made album, which is all I mean, that's the main thing I really care about, is that it sounds like I'm getting better at what I'm doing.
You released the record on Silver Age Records, which I understand is your record label?
Yeah, well, it's my record label in spirit. It doesn't really exist in any form or fashion. I guess maybe ASCAP, it exists to ASCAP, but I just had to, when I made my first album with Marcus Roboticus, he was a professional DJ who still did the ISRC and ASCAP registers. It was like, you have to make a publishing label, I just name it, and that's your label. I don't know, Silver Age Records, whatever. I was like, I don't care. And so that's when me and Tribe One wrote Silver Age, was when we were at Ruckus's studio recording that album. We wrote it while we were there. It was not a pre-written song at all. So it's definitely the best song I think he and I have ever written, because we wrote it kind of on the spot next to each other. And so Silver Age has kind of become a thing where me and Tribe One often talk about. We are as a duo called that. It's the name of a record label. It's one of our better songs that we've ever done. Hopefully we'll make an album as the Silver Age pretty soon. But we need to stop touring, I guess, long enough to do that, which is not easy. I know he's been out for a month straight right now, so his car broke down somewhere and had a craziness just hearing about stories on the road. So besides the Flash television show and besides Adam Warrock, what are you really into lately?
I just got back from living in Seattle, so right now I'm just trying to put things back where they need to go. I got home and I hugged my lawn boxes because I couldn't take them with me because it cost too much to ship them.
Too heavy.
Yeah,
super heavy.
And everything that I had is bagged and board and in order. And I was thinking, oh, I'll just set it on the train. No, I'm not gonna set it on the train. Fuck no. What if I damage my Scenic Grace sign collection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what are you really What are you a biggest nerd about? Are you a biggest nerd about TV or movies?
I'm a huge DC nerd,
yeah.
which usually amounts to having to defend the many bad choices that DC makes, and then fighting with other DC heads about continuity.
Well,
and
I mean, to be fair, the big two both made very big mistakes.
Right, but you have Marvel with Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers 2, this and that, and then we got fucking Batfleck coming out with DC,
yeah.
And it's
it doesn't seem it doesn't look good.
It doesn't. I've seen the list of when they're releasing movies, what's going to come out, when, and nothing's named, hardly anything's named on the DC side, and they're so far apart, and Marvel's just releasing Marvel and Sony, because obviously they have the rights to the characters, they're just releasing movie after movie.
Did you like Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Okay, so I like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, especially that version of Spider-Man, the Ultimates. But I think that it was too much too soon. They tried to cram too much in there.
It's definitely too much.
The death of Gwen Stacy had no weight at all.
Really? You think that?
I watched it
I don't agree with that at all.
I don't think that it had the weight that it should have had. It was over so fast.
No, I don't think that was. I think they played a really awesome cat and mouse game leading to her death, because there was a bunch of times where she was falling and he'd catch her,
right.
And she'd fall a little more and he'd catch her. And it was even when she was on the bridge, she shows up with an outfit she dies in. I thought it was a really good cat and mouse game because everyone in the crowd kind of knew she was going to die. And then when it happened, our theater, I saw it at midnight showing because I don't love Amazing Spider-Man, but I'm going to see them because they're important to me. And I enjoyed them. I had a good time with both of them. And I thought Jamie Foxx's Electro was awesome.
That was one of the strongest points of the movie.
Even though the movie's so stupid, but it's so awesome at the same time. It's so dumb. It could not handle how dumb it was. But our theater reacted very strongly to it. It was you could have heard a pin drop in the theater at that moment.
I saw it by myself. It was later on. It just got released and stuff.
Yeah.
But if someone close to you dies, someone that you love, you didn't get to see him like lashing out or doing anything. He's standing at her grave, and
I don't know, man. He cried pretty hard.
Yeah, he cried. Okay, but like that's not all you do. Like there's like lashing
I
out.
don't agree with you.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. I think the Gwen Stacy death was like the only thing that movie handled right. I think everything else was wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I like Electro.
it was
performance-wise,
It's so stupid. It was obviously the technology Sony had for their never made Infamous movie.
Right.
For the video game. And they're like, let's just make him look like Infamous because we were working on this movie probably, and then it didn't blow up. So anyways, we're getting off topic. It's been really fun at Central Coast Comic Con. This is a really cool area. I really like. It's really weird how nice everyone is and how relaxed everyone is at the beach. I come from very angry, bitter cities where everybody is rude to each other, and I'm used to that. And everyone's so nice and just relaxed. It's weird, but yeah. There's a stand comic. Oh, it's Baron Vaughn. He did the intro on my second album. He's a guy from LA and he's amazing. He has a joke about how you're never allowed to be in a bad mood in anywhere in California, on the coast, because it's you can just go to the beach. And how can you be in a bad mood? You can just go to the beach and look at the ocean.
Sunshine.
Yeah.
Clean air.
But I had a great time. This is awesome con. Everyone should check it out. And I got to see Fred the Hammer Williamson and Lorenzo Lamas eating hamburgers by each other at Bombay's, talking to no one. It was awesome.
You're known as one of the hardest working dudes in nerdcore. All work, no play, obviously. How many tracks have you released this year to date?
I don't know the exact number, but it's probably something around 46, something like that. Which is real. I'm disappointed in that because it doesn't look like I'm gonna hit 100 this year, like I did last year. Was it last year or the year before? One year I hit 100 songs in 1 year. So I probably won't do it this year. Unless I go nuts with the stuff that I release. But, Rap-A-Thon's gonna add another couple, 16 or something. So we'll get close. I want to be at 100. That's my goal, is release 100 free songs a year. But right now it's 46 or so.
All right, Adam. So if anybody wants to find you online, where can they find you at?
You can go to AdamWarrock.com. It's WARROCK.com. And then I'm on Twitter and Tumblr and Facebook, but you can find it all on that site. And all my music's on iTunes and Amazon, or you can buy it directly from me on my Bandcamp page, which is also on my site. So go check it out. Or I'm all over Twitter. Come listen to me babble on Twitter when I travel. Instagram, all that stuff.
Well, hey man, depending on your work schedule, how things go, would you consider coming back in future years to C4?
Yeah, definitely. I want to come back to the West Coast more. I don't come out here enough, and so anytime I have a chance to come out, I'm all for it.
All right, man. All right. Well, I'm CarlosE.S.P with the Legion of Nerds. Thank you guys for watching. See you soon.